Down this road I'll go, traveling all alone. Which direction it's unknown. On and on I'll go, search until I find my family and true friend. Hope it leads me to back home. Traveling down this road, so full of unknown, so alone I will go. Find my way back home.
Hey everyone, welcome again to another episode of Disability Landscape. I'm your host, Charlie Brose. With me as usual is Mark Knutson. Mark, who do we have today?
Well, today's one of our, like I like to say, one of our Disability Landscape Music edition. And we have, you just heard him play. He opened the song for us. I want to invite Steve Mireau. Welcome.
Thank you,
Welcome
guys.
to the show and that.
Thank you guys for having me.
Now, what was the name of the song that we had just seen?
Traveling is the name of that song.
Okay, and
Traveling can be found on your disc called Traveling.
how convenient. So how did you come about, with that song, the title and that?
So the song kind of just came. It was just something I would fumble with during sound checks, going to bars and stuff, playing gigs, and I was just kind of messing around. I had written some songs before the paralysis, and this was a song that just kind of spoke about, or it felt like it going through the recovery process of the paralysis.
Okay.
Kind of where it stemmed from.
What style would you consider this music to be? What genre?
Well, that's a good question. I would say it's a mix.
That's what we try to do, is have good
Yeah.
questions.
I don't know exactly where it would fall in. I have more of a blues country background.
Okay.
Is kind of where I comes
Okay.
from. I like rock as well, but I've also been influenced by rap and different things. So it's basically everything I've heard kind of just put out there. I wrote the song more off feeling versus trying to figure out what notes I was playing.
Sure.
It's just basically just a feel.
Okay.
It for some reason shook me a little bit, and like that's how the harmonica came. That was something I didn't do until after the injury with the paralysis. I started playing the harmonica because it was a gift given to me, thinking that I wouldn't be able to move my arms well enough to be able to play the guitar again.
Okay.
So I had to figure out how to play that because my grandmother bought it for me and bought a real nice one, and with that holder. So I'm like, all right, I gotta. Once I started playing guitar again, I just incorporated it with that song. So I don't have any training on the harmonica.
No, but it sounded wonderful.
So, why don't you talk about when you were injured, your injury, and just quickly.
Okay, so yeah, I'm from a little town in western Wisconsin. I grew up there, New Richmond, and basically fell in love with motorcycles the first day I ever saw one.
Oh,
It
okay.
was like just the look of them. It was the curves and everything and shiny.
Right. Yeah.
My
The sound.
grandparents, yeah, my grandparents had a farm, and they used the dirt bikes to go get the cattle to move them from different pastures. So that was my first experience, was riding on a motorcycle there. I fell in love with it. It was something that I just dreamt of doing. My folks growing up there, they lived 50 miles from that farm. We would go there every weekend, and I had this dream of wanting to ride motorcycles. So they were smart. They didn't want me to ever get hurt. Those dirt bikes were to basically get the cows and come back and be safe about it, and that's it. So then I ended up just pursuing that dream, buying a dirt bike at about 16 years old, getting a pickup truck, and starting to travel around racing.
Oh,
I
you
reached
did?
the professional level at about 20 years old. I
Oh.
became just a privateer, and I was just practicing one day at 25 years old at a private track, and the bike malfunctioned on the takeoff ramp. I tried to get away from the motorcycle, and I ended up over the bars and ended up crushing the C6 vertebra in the neck,
Ooh.
severed the spinal cord, and did a little more damage on the tumbles after the actual impact and
yeah.
the crush. So they say C5, C6 quadriplegic. Played the guitar, started playing the guitar when I was about 16 as well. I started the motocross and the guitar kind of late. The guitar was something I didn't really share with everybody, but I got involved in a band as well with Mark Sterry and the Whiskey Roses. And
Before your injury.
Yep.
Yep.
But then I kind of chose the motorcycles. Things were going good with both.
Okay.
And I was like, I hadn't plateaued yet on the motocross, and I felt like music is something you can do forever.
Yeah,
Like you're never
yeah,
too
yeah.
old for music.
Right.
I had some friends tell me like, what if you crashed and broke your hand and shattered your hand? You'd never be able to play the guitar like you did, you know? And so,
He's an house show though.
right. So after the injury, I had to come up with a different way to play the guitar.
Okay.
Yeah, and we've got a couple shots of your contraption that you created. Did you design this and get assistant to put this together? How did that all come about?
Yeah, so it all kind of started early on, right in the injury. About 2 months into it, they offered, while I was inpatient at Sister Kinney, they offered music therapy. So I signed up for the music therapy, and thinking that I don't know what I'm going to really do. I didn't have much arm movement at the time, and was just, coming from music, I was like, I just want to be involved with something. And the gal kind of like looked in the room, read the chart, like, sure we got the right room? And she said, I don't know exactly what we're going to do with you, but we'll do something. And
That's always
so,
nice to hear.
yeah. So
Let's take a guess.
so then we just kind of chatted, and she left that day, and then I was talking to one of the nurses, and, oh, you signed up for music therapy, and that gal, she sings and plays the guitar, and I'm like, she does. So when she came back, I said, would you mind just coming tomorrow for our session, bringing your guitar and playing and singing for me? I said, I don't know if you noticed, I haven't turned the TV on yet through my therapy or whatever, and inpatient visit. I said, I'm always just playing the radio. I said, music is just something that I love, and it just makes me feel peaceful.
Yeah.
So she ended up bringing her guitar in and playing and singing, and she was playing the A chord, and I had a hard time watching her play the A chord because it was buzzing, and I was just like, man, if you just move your fingers a little bit, it'll sound nice and clean, because her voice was so beautiful. So then
Oh,
I'm like,
really?
well, what if, I asked her, I said, what if I have my folks bring in a guitar and I tune it to an A? And then in that song, I didn't tell her that I didn't like the way she played the A chord. But in that song, I said, I'll just try to play that A chord. And I think there was 4 measures or whatever that, so there was some time on that chord, where the other chord, she was playing the chord changing fast. And I'm like, I think that I could muster up enough energy down here to be able to pick the strings.
Oh,
And so then
okay.
I could just kind of help pick maybe while she did her strum, because she was more of a strummer. And I thought, well, if I pick kind of the notes where her fingers are dead, it'll make her sound that much better. So I literally had the guitar brought in and started using occupational therapy and my parents and friends or whoever came to visit to try to like, we hold this here. And so we started adapting it to the chair. But as you guys know, wheelchairs in the beginning of my paralysis were, they're constantly trying different things. So
Sure.
as soon as I got set up for the one chair, the next chair, it was like, oh, we got to take that one. And I'm like, ah, shoot, there goes my guitar rig.
Yeah.
Because
Oh, right,
everything we
right,
just
right.
built fits that chair.
Yeah.
And I didn't, that part, I was like, I don't like this whole having to switch, change things, and having to depend on someone else to set it all up and tear it down just to play. And then all of a sudden I start playing and I gotta go to the bathroom or
Yeah.
different things. So
Oh,
I'm like,
right, yeah.
I gotta come up with a way that I can just, like a piano, I could just pull up to it, play it, and then leave it.
Yeah.
And so that was the idea of the table to hold the guitar. Came through trying to adapt to chairs and struggling with that, not having any abdominal function falling into it. I was like, I gotta come up with an armrest to be able to brace,
Sure.
to hold
Okay.
myself while and I started with backpack straps, strapping in a
Oh.
bar coming up behind my head to
Right.
hold me up while I played. Then I built up the lungs enough to where I can hold the air in to keep my body up. And so it's something that I just started doing for myself, and then it evolved to being able to play a song, play another song, and play for maybe 5 minutes before I was exhausted to
Okay.
the point that now I can play for 4 hours, which
Oh,
taking breaks obviously, and I
Yeah.
have to catch my breath in between each song. I can't just segue right into the next like
okay.
Or
I was just
like
gonna
I
ask
used
you how that, with your lung capacity issues, how does that affect you? So you have to take a couple minute break in between songs or whatever?
yeah, because I use a lot of the oxygen for holding the muscles that I do have, and
Oh, right, yeah.
and then running the diaphragm. So, but it's kind of always holding it in there so I don't just fall into the guitar.
Yeah.
So it's been something that's just slowly progressed and gotten better.
So you won't be playing the full version of American Pie.
No, probably not. No, and you're right. I do cut out, like a lot of the songs, I try to keep them about 3.5, 4 minutes.
Okay.
Just because that's about as long as this hand will hold down the strings.
Sure.
Oh, it is,
Because
okay.
I tune the guitar to an open tuning, so that way this splint was something that I developed with occupational therapy. They had made something for me to help eat, and I was like, well, wait a minute. And
I don't want to eat, I want to sing.
yeah, and a toothbrush holder. I was like, well, if you guys can bend and wrap that stuff and do all kinds of stuff, I just told the gal, I said, just roll me like your thing like you're gonna do in dough and fold it up into a T. And I thought we could stick it in my hand. And then they had this strap stuff, and before we folded it, we put a Velcro strap through there. And first just strapped this T-bar to my hand, and then I was able to start sliding around and pushing down on the strings.
Okay.
And then this material just fell out on one of my push cuff gloves that I use.
Okay.
And I thought, man, I wonder if I super glued that to that, how that would work. And so I did that, and then that got even a warmer sound. So then I worked with, that piece that I had was working, but we would have to, once I wore through the material, after about 10 songs, it wears out, I needed to replace it. So we had to make it so it was easy to replace different
So
parts.
that's the thing that you had on, that you have like a left
Yep,
hand that
yeah.
you're.
Okay. And I noticed you use like a lubricant or something on there also to make it slide on the strings much easier.
Yeah, and that was just a mistake that I had. I had string conditioner is what it is.
Okay.
And this is a silicone material, so it acts like skin, but it has the tone of skin. A slide is usually swangy and twangy,
Okay.
but that when I'm sliding from chord to chord, if I don't put the lube on here, it's really aggressive. It's like your fingers are there's a lot of that in between, and it's okay for a little bit, but if you want to listen to me for an hour, like that gets annoying.
Yeah.
Like I've listened back to myself and I'm like, I gotta cut that noise out. And so that's something that I use. But it also helps capture the perfect radius of the neck of the guitar to hold all the strings down at once and not buzz. Because the bone in here is not, I call it the bone, the piece that actually pushes down on the strings. It's been so hard to capture that radius because of the radius of the guitar neck and the taper of the strings.
Okay.
Yeah.
But then I worked with an orthist to make it so I could slide in and out because the Velcro strap was wearing out, which now you see me sneaking in. I used to use the Velcro strap, but it's barely holding on now. Todd Westlake out of the cities is the one that actually, he's an orthist that helped me make the mold of my hand and make it so it fits, so I didn't have to worry about getting a pressure sore
Okay.
while I'm playing for long periods of time. So, and then being able to push, and we had a hard, like I adjusted stuff, and I tried so many things, and a lot of people come at me with, why don't you try this, or why don't you try that, and I kind of in my head and know because of what we did try before, maybe, and I'll be like, let's go here, but I'll go those places with the people just to show them, like, oh,
Right.
and then we end up over here, but it's been a lot of work, and I'm also working on developing a thing that will be more on a rail system, that you won't have to be as accurate, and so I can play minor chords, because I'm playing open tuning and playing majors, and I do hit minors, cover minor songs, but I just try to hit it with the vocal and not the guitar, and just stay away from the one string that I have tuned to make it major. I just can't hit that. I can hit the other notes,
Sure.
and it still makes it kind of, you hear it, but there's no actual minor note. You end up hearing that through the vocal. But I'm coming up with a way, hopefully it'll be, I've been working on it for probably 4 years now,
Oh, wow.
and we've went every direction, like got better, got worse, to the point that now rebuilding from the ground up the right thing with the knowledge. And my hope is that people without a full arm could actually play the guitar, and make it easier on myself, and allow me to play more songs and be able to play more notes that I'm
Okay.
missing.
Cool. And what about the pick then? Is that special design, or is that something?
Yeah, so with the injury being, they consider me a quadriplegic. I've got impairment in all 4 limbs, so I don't have any finger dexterity. But what I do is I took a thumb pick, and I cut the pick just a little bit, the tip off of it, and then I took another pick and super glued it to it.
Oh, okay.
And super gluing it to find the right angle, because I'm playing like this,
Yeah.
it's just a little different. It's not as natural as how you would hold a pick like this.
Sure.
So I've had to figure that out and constantly just adjust it. And
Yeah.
I make about 10 of them to get one that works
Okay.
perfect. And today I was playing with not a perfect pick, because it decided to break on me yesterday while I was
Oh.
practicing. And so I had to super glue it, and the super glue made it shift just a little bit. So it was something that I was internally, like I have these little things that I get working good, and then I have to step back just a little bit to make that product better. And we're working on making a splint to make these,
Okay.
so that way they're always the same. But through that, we found out that the thumb picks are all just a little different, because they're plastic, and when they get them wrapped around a mold, they kind of fall off, or when they stack them,
Sure.
they start to take on a different shape, and so it's not exactly perfect.
Oh.
So, but
Where are some of the places that you've played at in that? Mostly bars then, or?
that's a good question. I started playing, the first show that I ever playing the guitar this way, was a remembrance for a friend that his brother had passed away.
Okay.
And he asked me if I'd do that, and once I did that, then a couple bar owners had came to that and saw me, and a cafe
did?
owner, so then they slid me their cards and started, we'd like to have you guys play at different
cool.
times. So I started in the bars and stuff, and then Mark Sterry, he was the guy that I played with in the band. He actually would have me come open up for him a little bit on some shows over here, back at the gigs that we were playing with as a band.
Okay.
And so then people talk, and
Right, yeah, yeah.
next thing you know, then I've been at schools doing a little bit of speaking and playing as well.
Yeah.
I played the 25th anniversary for the American Disability Act down in Madison, Wisconsin.
Oh, you
wow.
did? Okay,
And
okay.
That was in a beautiful building, and I cannot think of the name of it right now, because they got those red lights on there that scare me.
Yeah, right, yeah. That's why I don't look at the red lights. Scares me too.
So, I'm gonna wrap it up here, but you got 2 more pieces coming up. What are we gonna hear?
All right, you're going to hear Getaway, which
Okay.
is a song that I wrote in the middle of winter, which we are at right now.
Yeah.
I'm not sure when this is going to air, but yeah, it's cold. It was super cold when I wrote the song, and just. But then there's another song, which is a 12-bar blues, and that's How Things Should Be. And that one I had wrote the song and had the idea, but I started working with the Mata Midai Middle School, just going there and speaking, and they asked if I could write a song with the kids, and so I used them in a weird way, like to come up with different lyrics and different feelings.
Okay.
to come up with the song. So
Okay.
it's been shaped.
Where can people find your music?
You can check out my music on all the platforms, Spotify, but go to my website, stevemireau.com, and you can find stuff from there.
Okay.
Otherwise, the Traveling album is on Spotify, CD Baby, I think all the platforms.
Very nice. Art?
Great. Yeah, no, thanks for coming. I really do like your voice.
Thank you. Thank
The
you.
folksy sound in that, so.
And once again, it's Steve Mireau. Mireau, right? Correct?
Miro. Yeah.
Mireau.
Arrow.
On the album, well, it's an EP. It's called Traveling. I'm Charlie Brose. This is Mark Knutson. You've been watching Disability Landscape. We'll see you next time.
I wanna go where that warm wind blows. Arizona, Florida, even Mexico. Just gotta get away from all this cold and dry. The ocean spray and a warm sunshine. I gotta go. Get on a plane, fly somewhere south, somewhere so far away. I wanna go. Gotta get away. My body's aching and my hands are cold. Turn on the TV only to know the weatherman says it's gonna be cold for some time. Bundle up, oh, you'll be fine. I gotta go. Get on a plane, fly somewhere south, somewhere so far away. I wanna go. Gotta get away. Gotta go. I wanna go where it never snows, where only that warm wind blows. I wanna find myself in that warm sunshine. Oh, you know it, yes, so I'll be fine. I gotta go. Get on a plane, fly somewhere south, somewhere so far away. I wanna go. Gotta get away. I wanna go, get away. I wanna get on a plane, fly somewhere south, somewhere so far away. I wanna go, gotta get away. I wanna go where that warm wind blows. Arizona, Florida, even Mexico. Just gotta get away from all this cold and dry. The ocean spray and a warm sunshine. I gotta go. Get on a plane, fly somewhere south, somewhere so far away. I gotta go. Gotta get away. Even when I'm weak, you're beside me, standing tall. When I'm walking on the edge, you make sure I never ever fall. Don't let them feel the darkness. Oh, don't let them feel pain. that you have made. We stick together. Together we make the weak more strong. And helping one another helps us all move along. Even when I'm weak, oh, you beside me standing tall. When I'm walking on the edge, you make sure I never ever fall. Paint a vivid picture. Paint a vivid picture so that won't be long. Oh, paint a vivid picture. No need to point out what they've done, what they've done wrong. Don't let them feel the darkness. Oh, don't let them feel pain. Just show them the light you have made. When people come together, oh, together this nation's more strong. Helping one another helps this world move along.